Are you looking for an easy way to reduce watering in your lawn with one simple application? Well, my name is Wade Murray from the Great Green North. I'm a lawn care enthusiast as well as I worked in the industry, and today we're going to be talking about wetting agents, what they are, and can they help your lawn through the heat this summer. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Before we get into the video, I just want to wish all my Canadian friends a happy Canada Day. July 1st is today, the day that this video is coming out, and we celebrate our True North Strong and Free here in Canada. So happy Canada Day to all my Canadian viewers, and yeah, hope you have a fun, great, relaxing July 1st. For those of you new here, my name is Wade Murray. I'm a lawn care enthusiast as well as I worked in the industry, and our goal here at Great Green North is to help improve Canadian homeowners' lawns by sharing industry secrets that we use in the green industry to help make our lawns as green and healthy as possible. So if that sounds like a great idea to you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and share this video with your friends and family so we can continue to grow the Canadian lawn care community. Alright, so since last week's video, the heat wave here has subsided a little bit. I do apologize. I don't like recording videos when it is kind of gray and overcast, but unfortunately we just had a big thunderstorm roll through about a half an hour ago, and that's why our sun is no longer anywhere to be seen, but it will be back out tomorrow just in time for Canada Day. But today we're going to be talking about wetting agents. What are they, and can they help your lawn fight the heat in the summer? Alright, so before we talk about wetting agents, we have to understand one thing. What is surface tension when it comes to water? Have you ever filled up a water bottle and had that little bubble on top where the water almost looks like it's turning into a bit of a balloon when you overfill a water bottle or cup or anything like that? That's called a meniscus. And that is essentially the surface tension of the water is creating it to create that extra bubble where really it should be spilling over. The tension of that water is holding it together on top of the container, and that's the same thing we talk about with our lawns. Basically what we're looking at is those bubbles, those little pellets of water that we are putting down on our lawn. And most wetting agents, the idea is to reduce the surface tension to hopefully help get more of the water into your soil. So what we call these chemicals that reduce the surface tension on water, we call them surfactants. Now you might have heard of surfactants when you're talking about doing applications of any sort of weed control, post-emergent weed control, and essentially what we're using those surfactants for is to reduce those pellets of water to turn our spray into a bit more of a mist so we can get more even and equal coverage of our product on the lawn. That's what surfactants are used for. And what a wetting agent is, essentially, it is a surfactant in your lawn that's going to help improve your water retention by reducing the surface tension in the water. Alright, so there's two main types of wetting agents. The first one is called an ionic surfactant, and the second one is called a non-ionic surfactant. So first let's talk about non-ionic surfactants or non-ionic wetting agents. These are going to be just what we just talked about. These are going to reduce the surface tension of the water. And why do we want to reduce the surface tension of the water? Well, reducing the surface tension of the water, creating it into more of a mist, those smaller droplets, is going to help the water from running off the surface of the soil and allow it to penetrate into the soil. This is going to help more water get into your lawn and improve the water retention of your lawn, as the deeper that water can penetrate in the soil, the deeper it is from the surface, the longer it's going to take for that water to leave the soil or evaporate during those hot and sunny summer days. So these non-ionic surfactants are the most popular for turf grass applications. And for those of you who have been using my products through GrowForge, the TPA wetting agent or the yucca extract, these are both examples of non-ionic surfactants. And what these are helping your lawn do is allowing that water to penetrate deeper, reducing water runoff, all in all helping more water to be retained into the soil when you have rain and seeing less water run off the soil. Now quickly, let's show you what I'm talking about when I'm talking about water runoff. Alright, so when we think about water runoff, what we're thinking about is the rain coming from the sky. In the summer we don't see as much rainfall, but we do see a lot of thunderstorms or afternoon storms come in. Now what do we see in the spring? We see long duration rainfall. It's kind of a mist or a steady rain. It slowly soaks into the soil. And we might get anywhere between 1 inch to 1.5 inches of rain in any given day. Now in the summer, we don't see a lot of this. We don't have a lot of days where it rains all day. What we have is we have pop-up thunderstorms with the heat and humidity we get in the Golden Horseshoe region here in Toronto, these thunderstorms roll through and they might dump anywhere between 1 inch to 3 inches of rain in a matter of 30 to 40 minutes. Now, what do we see with this rain? Most of the time, this rain runs off. It essentially runs off the lawn. The rain comes down so fast it cannot be absorbed and intaken into the grass, especially when the grass has been dry for a long period of time and you have a hard, crunchy soil on top. It cannot be absorbed into the grass, and it essentially runs off down the streets into the city sewer and is taken away and is unable to be utilized by your lawn. So what these non-ionic wetting agents are going to allow your lawn to do is they're going to allow those quick rainstorms to be absorbed and utilized by the turf as moisture. So where normally we would see a hard crust on the soil that's going to wash away and not be utilized by the lawn, these wetting agents are going to allow that soil to be open up, allow the rain to penetrate deeper into the lawn, and also improve water retention and improve the overall health of our lawn over time. So these wetting agents are a great way to help your lawn in the summertime, and they're a simple, easy liquid application that can be put down about every 2 weeks to help improve the water retention in your lawn. Now, if you can't tell here, the weather's not cooperating. It just started raining, so I'm just going to pop under the roof here, and we're going to talk about non-ionic surfactants. All right, so I'm here in the shed. We got rained out outside, so I'm going to talk about ionic wetting agents or ionic surfactants and how these help your lawn and differ from the non-ionic wetting agents or the non-ionic surfactants. So ionic surfactants are surfactants that contain both hydrophobic and hydrophilic components. So hydrophobic meaning components that are going to repel water, and hydrophilic meaning components that are going to attract water. So this ionic surfactant is going to react depending on what you have going on in the soil, whether your soil is positively charged or negatively charged. So this is where we're kind of getting into a little bit of, you gotta think back to grade 10 chemistry class or grade 10 biology class, positive and negatively charged atoms. This surfactant is essentially taking care of either a positively charged atoms in your soil or the negatively charged atoms in your soil, and it changes depending on what reaction you currently have going on in your soil. So the ionic charge of the soil and the ionic charge of the surfactant is going to mean how they react with the soil. So essentially, if you are seeing a positively or negatively charged soil, that is going to depend on how the surfactant reacts with the soil and through the soil, the surrounding plants. So the plants, the turf grass, the crop, whatever you're planting that you're expecting to get a reaction now, this is how these ionic surfactants react to what's in the soil to then achieve what we see with the non-ionic surfactants. So essentially what we're looking at is it's going to reduce the surface tension of the water, allow the water to penetrate deeper into the soil, and therefore allowing the water retention to stay a bit longer in the soil and allowing our plant to become more healthy and more sustainable in these periods of drought stress, no drought stress, drought stress, no drought stress, or large amounts of rain going into small amounts of rain. These ionic surfactants are essentially used as a way to hopefully kind of equal out. You're trying to flatten that bell curve of rain and no rain that we see constantly in the summer, and you're hopefully trying to even this out, create a simple plan where the lawn is always seeing a consistent amount of moisture, or the crop seeing a consistent amount of moisture, which is helping it thrive and improve in the summer. So ionic surfactants are particularly used in crop applications. So most of the time we see these in applications of larger crops like corn and soybeans and stuff like that. But they also can be used in turf grass management applications as well. So we do see ionic surfactants featured in TPA from GrowForge. It has non-ionic and ionic properties in it, as well as Softener 95 from GrowForge. But these surfactants are definitely for a more pro side of things. If you're looking at kind of just getting your feet wet into wetting agents, I would stick with the non-ionic surfactants. But if you're looking to really get into wetting agents, you're hoping to really kind of dive all into the science behind what makes wetting agents work, then maybe going with a ionic surfactant might be your move. Now on top of this, some wetting agents have what they call is a humectant, which is essentially something that is going to absorb moisture from the surrounding environment, i.e. humidity or other plants located near that are emitting moisture. So what we're looking at in these wetting agents, and this would be found in hydrotane, that is found in the States. This is essentially basically if you have a really hot day with 70% humidity outside, you got lots of moisture in that air, but it is really hot, and that moisture might not necessarily be translated into a rainstorm or thunderstorm in your location at a later date. So what we see with these wetting agents is essentially it helps attract that moisture out of the air into the soil and helps hold it in the soil to then help, technically in a way it is watering the soil or attracting that moisture into the soil and improving the water content in the soil without seeing a lot of rain. So if you're in an area like the Golden Horseshoe or an area that's located near a body of water where you get a lot of humidity, a wetting agent with a humectant property is really helpful in your lawn. Now, the only wetting agent that comes to my mind that has humectant properties in it is hydrotane, which is featured in the United States. For my Canadian friends, I have yet to find a wetting agent that has humectants in it, but I am speaking to GrowForge about seeing what they have in store for the future, or whether there's humectant properties in some of their wetting agents that I just don't know about. So that's it between ionic and non-ionic surfactants and humectants acting in wetting agents. Essentially, the bottom line with wetting agents is what we're looking for is reducing the surface tension in that water so we can improve the penetration into the soil and allow that water retention to be more sustained, as well as with humectants hopefully attracting some of the water from the surrounding environment, whether it's humidity, a pond or lake located nearby, and to bring that into the soil to help improve the moisture content in the soil. At the end of the day, wetting agents are not a be-all and end-all solution to heat and drought stress in the summer. Just like everything we have here, there is no be-all, one-size-fits-all solution to heat stress in the summer. But wetting agents can be a key strategy to your way to tackle heat and drought stress in your lawn this summer. And I have seen success from using GrowForge's TPA or yucca extract in my lawn over the last 4 or 5 years. I have found that with the watering I'm doing and with the wetting agent, the two of them together help create a united front to hopefully help tackle heat and drought stress in my lawn and give me a better looking lawn during those hot, humid summer months we have here in the Golden Horseshoe. So without further ado, that's it from the Great Green North when we're talking about wetting agents. If you have any questions, please submit them to my email, greatgreennorthlawncare@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to answer them, or submit them through my website, greatgreennorthlawncare.com, and we'll get those questions answered and fired back to you. Thank you guys for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and leave a comment down below if you'd like to see kind of more lawn nerdy kind of videos just like this one. And without further ado, from the Great Green North, my name is Wade Murray. As always, keep it green.
I could crumble into pieces, but I got a million reasons why I won't. Cause this heavy is a season, and the sun is always right behind the storm. Bringing out the fight, yeah, bring on all the lightning. Cause I'm looking for a hero, look inside the mirror, I found one. Oh, carry the hurt when it gets too hard, pick it up, dust it off.